Zoos have evolved a lot over the past couple of decades, and really what we're trying to do is work at that intersection between animals and humans and habitat.
This isn't the same zoo from 30 years ago.
We're looking at things through the lens of science. We're doing a lot of science here, and we're applying that science not just to the care of our animals here, but to our conservation programs here and around the world.
That's Dr. Chris Kuhar, the zoo's executive director. He's involved in the planning and creation of every animal's habitat. Talk about an important job.
You can see the structure is built primarily as a shade structure, and it's tall because what we want to do is we want to be able to raise that feed up and make the elephants really work for it. You see there's a stump down below, and the elephants will actually stand on that to get even higher, to reach. That's good because what it does is it exercises those shoulders and those neck muscles and we've seen actually an increase in that body tone with the evolution of this exhibit.
Every single decision is carefully thought out, and each habitat is always changing.
When we build these exhibits, we're always evaluating them. They're never really done. So as we've put in climbing poles, we identified that the cats didn't necessarily like to climb all the way to the top, so we modified how we use those poles.
They learn as they go.
The way we've been designing exhibits over the past 10 years is to create multiple exhibits. And what that does is when they're interconnected like this, you can provide a variety of habitats to the animals.
This gives you a better vantage point and helps the animals too.
And you'll see sometimes as little kids run by, it gets their attention, right? It almost looks like something scurrying across in the forest, right? So they're kind of hardwired to respond to that. So it's actually good for the cats too. They're stimulated by seeing the guests up close.
The same concept went into creating the zoo's newest habitat, Susie's Bear Hollow. It gives you a front row seat, and it's custom created for the bears.
Andean bears and sloth bears are very accomplished climbers, and we wanted to accommodate that. And when they get to those elevations, there's resting platforms, which is another important element to bears, is foraging, exercise, and areas to rest.
Wait a minute, why do they call these guys sloth bears?
Sometimes they'll be climbing up trees and they'll actually be hanging down like you would think a 2- or 3-toed sloth would do, and they're very animated. And so that's kind of the namesake. It's not because that they're slow.
You can say that again. In fact, they're one of the most dangerous and aggressive bears in the world. They live with tigers in the wild, so they really don't have a choice. We saw it firsthand when we went into the training area of Susie's Bear Hollow.
Over here, Paula!
Yeah, with those claws, this guy really doesn't have anything to fear. But watch what happened when our camera got a little too close.
He's got real flexible nostrils, too. So they're actually...
Yikes. Let's look at that from a couple of other vantage points. We actually had to clean our camera.
And as you can see, sometimes they get a little nervous.
But he does trust his trainer.
Open. So open his mouth. Check out those teeth. Open.
And he loves his treats.
So he gets a couple of spoonfuls of this really good thing for coming to the whistle.
That's cookie butter. He also likes grapes and peanut butter. Listen to that sound he makes, like a vacuum.
You can see he's got a really long snout, and he's got super flexible lips and the big claws. He'll use the big claws to rip open a termite mound or possibly an ant mound, and then he'll kind of put their lips right around that hole, and they'll suck the bugs out.
All things they're able to do at the zoo, thanks to the staff of scientists constantly working to keep them comfortable. Kenny Crumpton, Fox 8 News.